The standard salary for members of Congress and senators is $174,000 a year. But many legislators have raked in millions on top of that over the years by investing in the stock market with an acumen that would make Warren Buffett blush. So how do they do it? Well, it certainly doesn't hurt that they're legally permitted to trade the stocks of companies that they may or may not oversee, but that may be coming to an end. A bipartisan group of lawmakers today unveiled the Restore Trust in Congress Act. It essentially bans the trading of individual stocks by members of Congress. They can still have money in mutual funds and they can still have their retirement accounts. They just can't trade on specific stocks. Here's Congressman from Texas, Chip Roy, saying that the legislation is long overdue.
It is time for the leadership of Congress on both sides of the aisle to do what the American people have been demanding, which is to end day trading by members of Congress. They do not send us here to enrich ourselves while we are voting on the issues. If you want to day trade, leave Congress. It's that simple.
Makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Lawmakers often know about things before all the rest of us do, and they can then trade on companies or industries that may be affected by those events that we still don't know about. Just remember all that trading by members of Congress back when the pandemic was just in congressional briefings and not public knowledge. That gives members of Congress an unfair advantage to buy and sell assets before any swings in the market. And the trading is happening a lot more than you think. 113 members of Congress made trades of more than 706 million shares last year. Now, that's not to say that all those trades were nefarious, but it does show that there's an awful lot of money being made on Capitol Hill. So much so that now there's a hugely popular social media account named Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker. The account follows stock trades made by Nancy Pelosi's husband. It quickly gained a following of more than 1 million people, so it expanded into an investment app called Autopilot, where you can copy the trades made by members of Congress, like those recently made by Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just went on a spending spree, buying up to $285,000 worth of stock in Google, FedEx, and Pepsi. She also bought something called Impinj, a pretty small random company that has ballooned nearly 160% since she invested back in April. Not bad. Then there's Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She bought shares in a military company called Viasat back in November, shortly after it was awarded a big government contract. That stock has gone up nearly 100% since then. And if you had matched Nancy Pelosi's trades, you would have ended 2024 with a 54% gain. That outshines nearly every single American hedge fund. Here to explain all of this in more depth is the creator of both Autopilot and the Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker, Chris Josephs. Chris, great to have you on the show. So more than 80% of Americans think members of Congress should be banned from stock trading. Do you think this latest bill will actually finally pass?
I hope so. Yeah. So as you mentioned, this bill has been trying to be passed for probably the last 3 to 4 years since we've been tracking them. The bill actually in 2024 made its way to the same spot that it is now. Unfortunately, since it was a new Congress, it got paused and they had to reintroduce it. There are some kind of pros to it where obviously the members of Congress should not be allowed to trade stocks. It's such an obvious thing. 90% of Americans agree with it.
However, it's so obvious.
It's insane to say. Like, you ask every single person on the road, and it's like, even reporters, there's probably stocks that you personally can't trade. Meanwhile, members of Congress can do whatever they want. The problem, though, with this bill, and where I see a little bit of hesitation with how it will be passed, and there are politicians that have already brought up points on why it won't pass, is if you own a private company that has over 1,200 employees, even if it's a private company, you would be forced to have to divest out of that company. And also the new bill the new act that made it the way the farthest, that you also wouldn't be allowed to do blind trusts anymore. So that is a little bit of the different piece that the majority of the public doesn't necessarily know about, and I think can cause a little bit of hiccups to get the ban actually through.
I can understand why members of Congress don't want to pass the bill because they're making a lot of money. But why isn't more of the public more outraged by this? the examples that we just cited in the intro, but it was particularly like when members of Congress were getting briefed right before the pandemic became public knowledge that there's a weird virus in China and where it looks like this is serious stuff and this is going to spread globally. And all of a sudden, members of Congress are selling their stocks in hotels and cruise lines and airlines. They got out while the rest of us not only suffered the pandemic, but, suffered the loss of all the stocks. I don't understand why there hasn't been more public outrage driving and insisting that Congress stop doing this.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting the nail right in the head. And I think like Americans, we have all been calling it out for years. It actually even started back in 2009, where the Stock Act, before that, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. And the only reason why that passed at that time was because they were trading the great financial crisis. So it seems like they continue to trade these big crises and, Americans, we're just passively watching. I think we are now getting to the point, though, with the help of social media, with the accounts, and hopefully I tell myself with our app that allows you to actually copy them, like we're giving people a way to get in on the action. And it actually is the perfect way to highlight the hypocrisy of them trading. And I think hopefully it gets more and more eyeballs onto the subject and actually can get that ban through, because you are right. If politicians could snap their fingers and just swipe this under the rug and just never look at it again, they for sure will. The only reason why it's being talked about now is because the American public are putting the pressure on them.
What are some of the most shocking recent trades you've seen?
So you hit a couple. The ones that I've been particularly really interested with is one is Palantir. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's actually been making a name for herself this year. People are calling her the next Pelosi. She bought Palantir.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way. No. That's probably the only two things they do have in common is they both like to trade stocks. But she bought Palantir, and she sits on a couple committees that oversee a couple of the defense contracts and things of that nature. And Palantir is one of the best performing stocks year to date. So that's one that we've been keeping a close eye on. Another one that particularly interested me is a stock you probably never heard of called Genius Sports with ticker symbol GENI. That was bought by Representative, or I think she's a senator actually, it's the senator from Florida. And I don't want to say the wrong name, but the long story short was when she was the attorney general, she was overseeing sports betting for Florida. And the company that had the only contract and the ability to do it was Genius Sports. So once she became a politician and she is overseeing Florida, Genius Sports has been getting some lucrative deals. And next thing you know, that stock in particular is up like 30 to 40%. I think that is one of the more conflicts of interest that I've seen out of any stock recently. Yeah.
I still can't believe Nancy Pelosi really beat every single hedge fund in America's performance last year. Shocking.
It's not shocking to me anymore. She's had a great job. Since we've been tracking her in 2023, she's up 200%. And even today, Google was a stock that just was up 10%. That's her third largest position according to our filings. So
yeah, I could put my kids through college on all that. All right.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly is right. Chris Josephs, great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.